Oh, seriously? Hey guys, and welcome to another leak video with me, 6+ Stevo. Now I say a leak video, I'm probably going to be corrected again that this is a rumour video, or a rumoured leak video. I don't know, these are rumours, these are leaks, take them as ever you want, take them with as much salt as you want. My last video covering these leaks / rumours, I caught a little bit of flack for it. It was my most popular video to date in terms of views, but it's also my most popular video in terms of getting a few thumbs down. I think I got about 3, maybe 4 thumbs down. Never had that many before. But yeah, and caught a couple of comments in there that were criticising, but never mind, moving on. So anyway, I had a few comments in previous videos and some messages sent to me from some of my subscribers saying, look, you've got to check out Kiriof's latest video. He's covering some more leaks / rumours regarding the Ork Codex, and you're going to want to have a look, and we want to hear your thoughts on it. So yeah, your wish is my command. This is what I'm doing right now. So anyway, it looks like, from what he says in his video, that I was right. These rumours, leaks, whatever, are gaining a lot of credibility as we're drip-fed more news. And the reason for that is because the person who revealed these leaks, rumours, was the same person who revealed the names of the new Ork vehicles that we see: the Custom Booster Blaster, the Shock Jump Dragster, and the Boom Dakka Snaz Wagon. He named all those long before they were officially announced. So whoever is this playtester, supposedly, who's leaking this information out, has got some credibility because he's been on the money with those. So you know, I think my gut instinct at the moment is telling me that these are true. But so on the Dakka special rule, army-wide now, yet again, that's been stated to be true. So every unit in your Ork army, when they roll 6s to hit, gets another shot. And this is, I gotta hope that's true, because that is just so awesome. Now that's not going to make Orks. That's not going to make Orks the top tier shooty army. It's not going to completely fix the issues they have with their shooting. They're still highly inaccurate, and we know from the Dakka Stratagem that it has very limited effectiveness. But that was as a stratagem that you had to pay a command point for, and just on one unit once, you know, or however many times in the game you wanted to use that stratagem. And it was largely ineffective. It was better with some units than others, but it wasn't great. But army-wide, for free, it's definitely gonna clock up a few extra hits and a few extra wounds here and there, especially with some of the more damaging weapons. So that is fantastic, and it's going to help Ork shooting massively. And like I said in my previous video about that, it's really fluffy. Orks, I've said in previous videos before that we don't want to improve their ballistic skill. We don't want to make them an accurate, efficient shooting army, but we do want to make them threatening and deadly, without losing the sort of the lore and the fluff behind them, that they are generally a bit stupid and inaccurate with their fire and they get a bit carried away. You want to keep that, but you do want to keep that threat level there. And I think with rules like that, it really does demonstrate that Orks are still highly inaccurate. You're still hitting on 5s, but it represents them getting a bit carried away, a bit trigger happy. They're just, you know, holding that trigger down and unleashing and having the time of their lives. And every now and again, they're going to surprise you. You're going to roll a lot of 6s, and then those 6s are going to result in extra hits. Then you might get another lucky roll, and then you really take your opponent by surprise. And I think that is it works really well for orcs, because I think when you read the lore and stuff, orcs are generally regarded by the other factions as stupid and clumsy and of no significant threat, really. But many times we've read stories, and you read the sort of the bits of history and stuff in the codexes and rule books and the Black Library novels and stuff. They do take armies by surprise. They do, you know, unleash devastating assaults out of nowhere and catch unwary generals and commanders, you know, off guard. And it's brilliant. It brings the orcs to life in a way on the tabletop as they're represented within these stories and stuff. And I'm all for it. I think it's great. It's just a fantastic rule. I think that it's fluffy. It makes them more competitive without taking away the character, and it doesn't make them competitive in a way that they're overpowered. It's a nice little bonus. It's a nice little boost. It's certainly not going to be on par with the accuracy of Space Marine shooting or Tau shooting, or, well, nearly every other faction really, but it does buff it a little bit. And every now and again you're going to roll nice and you're going to see some devastating consequences. And yeah, so Daka, it looks like we are getting that, and I'm over the moon about that. The next thing though, the new information is that I want to focus on in this video, because there was quite a lot of information in that video. The next bit of information I really want to focus on is the news of stratagems, because stratagems, that's what we've been crying out for. Yeah, we want new units, we want some buffs, we want some points drops, we want all those things. But what's really going to make orcs competitive on the tabletop is having some access to some really good stratagems. Now, we do have some good ones currently, but a very small amount to choose from. We got the few extra ones in chapter approved, which was nice, but yeah, we don't have a lot to play around with really. And a lot of armies, their strengths and their strategies and stuff, and a lot of their perks come from these stratagems. A lot of the stratagems in the game that other factions have currently can be game changing. You know, they really can swing the tide of battle if used correctly and at the right time. And it's fantastic to be hearing about some of these ones upcoming, excuse me, that could do the same for us, basically. It's going to be so nice to throw some powerful stratagems in the faces of our opponents. So anyway, without further ado, let's start looking for them. So the first one that was talked about was a stratagem called Teleport, and now this one's a bit of a strange one because it says you can hold up to 20 power level of your army back when setting up, and teleport them in up to 9 inches away from the enemy. So, you know, deep striking basically. But in Kyrios' video, he in particular mentions the Gorkanaut, and the person that sent in these leaks spoke specifically about the Gorkanaut, which currently stands at 19 power level. Now, if there is any truth in this, oh my god, that's incredible, because I can speak from experience with my Gorkanaut. He is devastating in close combat. Absolutely brutal. He kicks out a fair amount of shots and stuff in the shooting phase, but being controlled by orcs, most of them miss. So he's about as effective as every other orc shooting unit. But yeah, in assault, my god, he's devastating. But unfortunately, in many of my games I've had, I've not been able to get him in assault because he's been destroyed before he's got there. Which is a real shame because, you know, model-wise, he's one of my favourite models in the whole Orc range. I love the Gorkanaut. I know it divides opinion, but I'm a big Gorkanaut fan. So if this is true, and it does work with not just infantry and vehicles as well, it literally just says 20 power level, doesn't specify. If you can throw your Gorkanaut behind enemy lines early on in the game like that, my god, that's going to wreak some havoc. And that's a threat they're going to have to deal with pretty damn quick. Not to mention any other combination of units and vehicles and whatnot you could use this stratagem on. This and all the other ones have no mention of cost of command points. I can imagine something like that is going to be pretty expensive. But yeah, it's a strange one. That it does confuse me slightly, because stratagems are generally used sort of in-game and stuff, so it's sort of a stratagem that's used during the setup phase or something. It's unclear. I say there's very limited information on these. But moving on, so the next one, there's one called Green Tide. So a infantry unit, under half strength. You can, again, this one wasn't worded very clearly, but from what I sort of pick apart from it and what I think it's going to be, is so you got a unit under half strength. You can take it off the board and then bring it in 6 inches from any board edge and 9 inches from the enemy. I know there's other armies that do similar things to this. I can't remember what ones they are though, whether it's Dark Elder or some of the Chaos factions. I think, isn't it the Chaos, not the Renegades, what are they called? The Cultists. I think you can do a similar stratagem like this with Cultists. So again, that's great. Green Tide, very fluffy. So that one sounds really good. We know from experience using our weird boys that pulling off the jump and teleporting units of boys right in against the enemy. We know how devastatingly effective that can be if used properly. So more teleporting shenanigans is going to be great for us. If we can get in the face of the enemy and start stomping heads and kicking in teeth early on, that's going to really massively increase our effectiveness. The next one, and possibly my favourite one, is Grot Shield. I spoke about this video very recently, saying about how this is a tactic used in Kill Team, very similar, and I was really hoping they would bring this over into the Codex, and it looks like my wish is going to come true. Grot Shield, so you use this if a unit is being shot at and they've got a unit of grots nearby that are closer to the shooting unit. Your unit then has a 2+ save, rolls a dice if they're wounded. No, not a 2+ save. How does it worded? So you basically, I think it's basically a sort of a 2+ feel no pain in effect. And if you roll the 2+, the grots take the wounds instead, basically. Incredible. I've got quite a lot of grots in my army. I will be making maximum use of that. Having a big unit of knobs or mega knobs or something with keeping a whole load of grots around them, that's going to be incredible. That is really going to give your boys, your knobs, some staying power. That sounded wrong, didn't it? Yeah, Grot Shields, brilliant. Fluffy, effective, funny, just brilliant in every way. That is definitely a Grot's main purpose, to be held screaming, struggling, used as a meat shield against oncoming fire. Just astounding. What have we got next? We've got another one that could potentially be my favourite, Ramming Speed. Orc vehicles gain 3d6 charge, and upon successful charge cause mortal wounds. Proper tank shock is back in a brilliant way. This is amazing. Again, orcs would do this. They would slam their foot down on the pedal and just ram into the enemy without a second thought for their own safety. And if that's going to happen, it is going to dish out a horrendous damage. So mortal wounds are definitely justified. And think, in this case, how effective trucks are going to be early on. Currently, as we stand, trucks aren't great as a delivery system. They're great as a they're great for shooter units. You mount up some tank busters in there or some flash kits or whatever, and it gives them mobility, it gives them some protection. But as a delivery system for delivering your hench close combat units, they're not very good, because they don't really increase your threat range that much. They don't really get you up the board that much quicker, because trucks, although they got tougher, they did get a lot slower this edition. So being able to take a truck up the table turn 1 and then potentially get a 3d6 charge range from it, then in the following turn your boys can pile out, that's going to be really effective after this said truck has dished out a load of mortal wounds on the enemy unit. I think that's going to open up loads of possibilities. The new buggies and things that you're seeing on the screen at the moment, they're going to obviously be able to make use of this. Battle wagons. I imagine this is just for vehicles like track-based, wheel-based vehicles. I assume if it works with Death Dreads and Cans and Gorkanauts, then Jesus, this is going to be fun. That's just going to be incredible. 3d6 charge, yes please, sign me up. Next one, Looted. Now this one, like all the other ones here, no mention of command point cost, and also no mention whether these stratagems, any of these, are clan specific. Now if one is going to be clan specific, it will be this one, and I see this being one possibly exclusive to Death Skulls, but it doesn't say that, so this may be open to all Orc factions. And what this one does, so Looted. Any infantry standing near a vehicle, an enemy vehicle that is destroyed, gains a +1 save. So very cool. An enemy vehicle, let's say a Rhino, something, has been destroyed near a unit of Orc infantry, and they have wasted no time in stripping it bare of armor plating, etc., and use this as shields on themselves. It's just awesome. It's awesome, especially if your boys are getting stuck in and teleporting in early on and taking out vehicles and then using said remains of vehicle to increase their armor save. Yeah, that's astounding. So I guess with that stratagem, our boys are back. Not in the way I'd like them to be back. I still want them to bring them back properly, but yeah, that's a cool stratagem. Our armor saves are essentially shit across the board, so anything that increases our armor save, yeah, I'm all for that. Next stratagem, long uncontrolled bursts, a +1 to hit when Orc flyers shoot at another flyer. Yeah, cool. I don't currently have any flyers in my army. I do intend one day on getting some because they look really cool. And so yeah, that's a nice stratagem. Again, anything that improves Orc shooting is good. And the last one, and the one that I think is probably going to be the most used and quite possibly the most effective of all of these, is Get Stuck In. When you use this stratagem, an Orc unit can pile in and assault again during the combat phase. So think like Khorne Berserkers, I think, have a similar stratagem where after attacking they can just attack again. Oh boy, unit of 30 slugger boys piling in, causing carnage, and then after that you pull out the stratagem card and declare that you're going to pile them in and do it again. Oh yes, I can't wait to use some of these. Again, I'm trying not to get too excited because these are rumours. We don't know if these are true, but based on the evidence of what this person has leaked before, it looks like they are going to be. The vast majority of these sound very feasible, very fluffy, very well thought out, and yeah, I can't wait to get stuck in with long uncontrolled bursts while holding my grot shield and looting enemy tanks, and yeah, it's just going to be a fucking great time to be an Orc. We have been on the receiving end of far too many poundings and beatings lately, and we're quite frankly sick of it. God, I know I am, and I can't wait to unleash my vengeance, my furious vengeance upon my foe. It will be swift and it will be brutal, and I will be making maximum use of all of these stratagems. My advice to all you Orc warlords out there is to up your troop count. You're going to be wanting to farm those command points once we get this codex, so stock up on your boys, stock up on those grots, get those battalion detachments in, stock up on as many command points as you possibly can, and then make use of these vicious, brutal, powerful, effective stratagems, and we are going to wreak carnage. So yeah, this is one excited 6+ Stevo signing out.